Hello everybody, this is Hearthstone, I am Rzeźnik, and I'm gonna talk about Priest. Why is it such a horrible class to play? First, about me, I've played a little bit of games here and there. Right now it's like 4th season, this is the released game, retail game, and I didn't really bother with new ranking. The most games I've played so far is Priest, it's level 60. This is because I started the game, the very first packs that I opened had good Priest cards. Thus, I went with the Priest way as I had the card, and along the way I've got cards for some different classes. This is why Priest my main focus, and the majority of 1000 games here I've played as a Priest. Thus my understanding of the class. Let's go for my collection and see a new deck for the Priest. Now, there are 9 classes, and we have to say one thing before we start banging on Priest. There are 2 things that define a class. First, it's hero power. Second, it's unique cards. Obviously, you can fall for his pretty face, yes. But you don't necessarily have to. In a game where one class is weaker than others, you don't have to really hamper yourself by playing it. You can just switch. However, should you invest your real money into its cards or your playtime to leveling it, you'll be disappointed by a weaker performance by this class. Now, was it a casual game as it was advertised to some? If a class is weaker than another, it's not a problem, because if you play, say, a PvE campaign against a computer, you're gonna win. Maybe slower, maybe it will take you more sweat to win, but you will win. However, this is a competitive game. All its game modes are meant to be played against other players, well, without practice, but no one plays practice. Play and arena are player versus player game, and in those game modes, there is only one winner and there is only one loser. Oh, one loser. And if you have no cards, and if you have 1 HP left, and if you manage to kill your opponent, it's a win. Still, it doesn't matter how bad the style was. Thus, having a hero weaker or stronger matters a lot for the game. So you cannot be just good enough, you have to be better. Better is what wins game. You need better play, better luck, but better, which is, you know, it's dependent on you and on the RNG Jesus. However, you need also better ability and a better cards, which is actually when you can actually theory craft, think, and spend money on. And unfortunately for the Priest, as I think the weakest class in the game, it's very tough. Now, let's proceed. First, the hero power. It's the least useful, well, the hero power that is useful in least situations, because take any other hero power in the game and you can use it. Imagine there's an empty board, no minions, nothing happened, and each other classes picks ability. Warlocks draws a card, mage deals damage, warrior, even having full HP, gains 2 armor. Priest, there's nothing to heal, you cannot heal yourself, you're full HP, there's no minion to heal, you won't heal the enemy. It's just wasted mana, so you really need a condition when your hero power is useful. So from the start, hero power not so good, because it won't carry like druid or mage abilities do. Now let's choose the Priest and looks onto its class cards. I've got all of them, and let's talk about them one by one. From startup, Circle of Healing. Well, it's a good card. It's one of the few good cards in a Priest deck, with the weakness that on its own it does nothing. It is a synergy card, which means you need this card and another card, which means you are spending 2 cards for a power. Say like you want to play your Aukenai Soul Priest and play your Circle of Healing to do 4 damage to all minions. This is a synergy. You can play your boom boom boom. Where are you? Oh, it was a 3 mana guy. Okay, you can play your Injured Blade Master and heal him up with your Circle of Healing, and also get a good synergy. And those are good plays. You get on turn 3 for 7 minion. You get on turn 4 a board clear for 4 damage, basically a flame strike. However, What matters in the game not is the most funky combo you can think of, like Ragnaros from Alarmobot or Innervate on turn 1. What you want is consistency. In the long run, like 1,000 games, you want a percentage chance of something happening. And in order, imagine you draw a hand and there is Circle of Healing, but no synergy card. Then it becomes a dead card. It does nothing to except occupying your space. And every time you want to play it, you want to spend 2 cards, basically. Thus, the odds of this happening, of drawing 2 exact cards, if you have 2 Circle of Healing in your deck, there's 30 cards, there's 1/15 chance of drawing it. And then there's a 1/15-14 chance of drawing another card from the get-go. So they are cumulative, so 1/15 times 1/15, and it gives you a very small chance actually of going for this exact combo. And in the long run, small percentage chance, while it may happen from game to game, you won't notice it this much. So this is actually a pretty bad situation, especially when enemies can do stuff with just 1 card. Well, it's better to have 1 card that does one thing always when you need it, instead of having a card that sits there and waits for the other card that will synergize it somewhere at the bottom of the deck. Next one, Silence. Silence is, it's a bad card. Why is it a bad card compared to, let's say, Shaman? No, I don't want. Yes, I want. No, I don't want. No. To a Shaman Earthshock or a different minion-based horrible deck. Oh my god, Mind Blast. One Mind Blast. To a Shaman Silence. I'm gonna go for the collection because it has a cost of 1 card and it just silences the minion. For example, the enemy plays a minion. The minion is having some basic stats and they have a power. Let's say it is I don't know. Let's say it's Ancient of War, which gives more attack or more damage. By using a card to counter a card on your card clock, you are even. You spend a card to counter a card. However, you didn't kill the card. The card is still there. It's just silenced. In a very few occasions, it totally negates the card. Maybe it's not Pagel, who won't do anything later. Maybe it's like the Lightspawn, which will have 0/5 attack. Then you have a good trade, 1 card for 1 card. And without it, silence is just silence a minion and then kill a minion. You still need to deal damage to a silenced minion. You need to trade for the stats, which means you need to silence and then to kill it, which means 2 actions for 1 action. It's the same as Circle as Healing. You need a combo, or casting silence on a minion doesn't deal with it. You still need to kill it. It's not like you can, it's not a polymorph. Obviously the cost is 0, which is good for tempo in the game. However, you are the tempo gain is not significant because you're not killing the enemy. You just, hampering it, and it's a weak card compared to Rogue Backstab. Where is our Rogue Backstab? That you can actually kill a minion. Early game or weaken it so you can trade more efficiently. This can really give you the board, gain control of the board, while this one just, just weak card. It doesn't do anything on its own, and cards are power. Having many cards, many options is very, very powerful. So let's go back to slaughter the rest of the card. Holy Smite! It's a decent tempo card. 1 mana, deal 2 damage. It's a good card actually. Nothing to say. Very similar to Hunter's Arcane Shot. It's a sister card. Actually, Hunters don't run too many Arcane Shots because there are some sexier cards out there. Now let's go for the Inner Fire. Inner Fire, change minion attack to be equals to its health. It's used in many ways. One of them is you want to use your magical Shadow Ward Pain or Shadow Ward Death, which do not apply to 4 damage minions. Then you use the Inner Fire Trickery and you can Shadow Ward Death. which is a very bad play because you are spending 2 cards for 1 card, and it is a desperate, very desperate move, also being a combo, which most likely than not will not occur. The other thing is, if you have a low attack but high health minion, say your venerable, where are you? Venerable. Oh, is it Snapjaw? You can beef him up. You've got 2/7 for 4, and then you have 7/7. Basically, a golem card, which normally would cost 7. However, you're spending 2 cards on it. And you cannot use it preemptively. Like, you cannot drop Oasis Snapjaw on your turn, which we cannot attack, then use to buff him up to 7/7 and skip the turn, because the enemy will silence him, will kill him with a potent removal, and you'll waste 2 cards for 1. So you cannot buff minions on the turn they are dropped. You need minions to be buffed on your attack turn, where actually you'll get benefit from a better trade or deal face damage. And what's the problem with this? Well, you need board control. So if you lost board control, the enemy has the board control with many aggro decks, Hunter, Warlock decks. Having board control, this is a dead card. You cannot use it. You cannot drop a minion and use the card because you're losing 2 for 1. You are risking 2 for 1. You have your minion to be on the attack turn. And you need a combo. This is also a combo, because when you get your Oasis Snapjaw on turn 4, this is not that good minion. And the enemy plays a normal minion, so you need a combo, so you need still to roll both of the cards for it to work. There's so much combo, and combos are bad. The combos shouldn't be a staple of your play. They should be a bonus that if they happen, awesome. But if not, the cards are good alone. But in this situation, no. If you have only Oasis Snapjaw, or only having your Inner Fire in your hand, they are bad cards. They are dead cards. They do nothing. Nothing. There are some other tricky plays to it, but they are very inconsistent. And in a game like this, when the win percentage runs, the long run, the variance, having inconsistency is bad. It makes for a good Reddit post for some lulz, but other than this, no. Let's move to another card. Mind Vision. Mind Vision is bad. Why is it bad? Because it's random. In a competitive game, you want stuff that does stuff. This stuff does something. You don't know what. You might get Deadly Poison for the weapon, which you do not have. You might get Totemic Might, which give more health to your totems, which you do not have. You might get Deathwing, which you won't use for a long time. It's so random. It is fun in a casual environment, but in a competitive game, it's bad. It doesn't do anything. It's a card for a card. You don't want randomness. You want specific effects that you can rely on to counter the situations. Because if the enemy always knows what he's doing and he can expect the value, and you are flipping the coin every time, if you are flipping a coin for a awesome effect and horrible effect, then maybe. But you're flipping the coin for a okay effect, for a horrible effect, and the average between them is below average effect, which is bad. Next up, Power Roll Shield. Power Roll Shield is a good card. It's a good tempo card for early game, just like Holy Smite. This is one of the good cards. I think it is one of the best, if not the best one cards, because if you have a minion, if you are the if you are the top dog, if you have the initiative, like you drop a minion, enemy drops a minion, and you look into a trade, you pop Power Roll Shield, you then hit the enemy, kill the enemy, and you still have a minion, and you still have a card. So you're on a card advantage. Awesome card, very nice card. One of the very few very good cards. Next on, Northshire Cleric is the priest draw mechanic. Every class has some draw mechanic, like Paladin will have... where is Paladin, where are you? A Blessing of Wisdom. When enemy attacks, minion attacks, you get a card. Or the Hammer of Wrath, or Divine Favor. These are, every class has the draw mechanic. In case of Paladin, there are actually quite a few cards that draw you cards. The main draw of the priest is Northshire Cleric. Whenever my minion is healed, draw a card, which is, well, this card is never to be played alone. It's not like you drop it on the turn 1, turn 2 and it fights. You want to drop it, it is like the late game, you actually have a damaged minion and you heal it for a card. So let's say you have a Yeti that has been wounded and you drop Northshire, you heal it for 1. You draw a card, which is a card for a card at the cost of 1 mana. And if you can actually keep it alive, it will give you profits. If you cannot keep it alive, it just cycles itself. The optimal situation obviously is you have a full board of minions damaged, and then you drop it, and then you heal everything. However, if you have a full board of minions, your minions, then you are winning, and you don't need to win more. So you can just as well do anything else. If the enemy has a board full of minion and you drop it to heal them and draw cards, then well, then you lost, unless you have, I don't know, Deathwing maybe in your hand that will discard all the cards. So this card actually, because Priest struggles in the game. Priest is a long time player in the meta game, so you are basically on the receiving end of the enemy, on the aggression. You are defensive, so it's actually quite hard to pull it off effectively. There are some good combos with it, like you have some damaged minions, and then you go for the neutral Darker Healer, which restores 2 health. You can get some good effect, or the Circle of Healing that we talked about. But again, combo, situational. Combos are bad. This is the first rule and the major weakness of the Priest. Combos are fun when they work, but mostly they don't work, so you should just have cards that are good on their own, and when combined with something that makes something better, okay, but not a staple card. When alone it's bad, only combined with something it's okay. So it's an okay card, Northshire Lake, but not very good in the metagame where the Priest is struggling for the board dominance and is on the receiving end, and this will just most unlikely just trade 1 for 1. Next up, Divine Spirit. Doubles minion health. Oh my god, my voice is breaking. This card is very similar to Inner Fire, or in the meaning that you don't want to drop a minion and Divine Spirit it afterwards, because you will get silenced, you will get hard removal, and you get just 2 cards for 1 on your disadvantage. You want to drop a minion, it's an enemy turn, he does something, hits you, trades, ignores your minion, then you drop Divine Spirit and you can get an awesome trade, maybe even combo with Inner Fire, right? Snubjoe, Oasis Snubjoe, 2/7, buff it up to 14, 2/14, and then 14/14. Except you need a minion that lives to a turn, and unless, I don't know who lets it, but minions usually they just go off and die, and you have an empty board. So this is a lot of this is also a synergy card. You need something on the board that has a lot of health, so you get the bigger effect, and it needs to stay there, which means you need to a board presence, and Priest is struggling for board presence. You need good cards that say there are 2 enemy minions, you have none because they've been killed, and you want a card to play from your hand to deal with the table, to clear it. And this doesn't help you. This is you know, unexpected 20 health something in your face, which just doesn't work. Okay, next up, Mind Blast. Deal 5 damage to the enemy hero. Well, the Priest cards are already, you know, like concept of, like in the Warcraft strategy game, or later World of Warcraft, the Shadow Priest, Disciple, and Holy, and this is one of the Shadow realm. 5 damage for 2 mana? Awesome. On a class that otherwise has nothing to deal damage and is not aggressive at all on the enemy health pool. I don't really know. I've tried it with Onyxia, like Onyxia and next to Mind Blast. Onyxia, yeah, the lady who does the reduce health. Onyxia, no. Alexstrasza. Okay, Alexstrasza. I've tried it with Prophet Velen, which increases its potency to double, which makes it 10 damage for 2 mana, which is also a combo. And we have to talk about combos. It doesn't work because other people are aggressive. You cannot be aggressive. It just doesn't work. It doesn't fit with any single other card. It's like no. Next up, Shadow Word Pain. It is a removal that is bad. Why is it bad? Let's compare it with the staple mage removal, 2 mana removal. Frostbolt does 3 damage and freeze. Just imagine 2 situations. It is early game, you get a Frostbolt in your hand, the enemy drops, say, Worgen and Raging Worgen, and you can kill it. In early game, you can trade it 1-for-1 card for tempo. So if you have a minion, the enemy drops a minion, then you Frostbolt it, the enemy minion, then you can attack to the face with your minion and you keep the tempo. This is in early game. In the late game, if you pull it up from your deck, you can Frostbolt, say, a 5 health enemy, ping it, it stays frozen for the next, and ping again, which means that this spell can be brought up to 5 damage. Or this can a big enemy minion on the field that wants to finish you off by hitting to the face, Frostbolt it. It is frozen, it cannot hit you, and you hit the enemy in the face instead. It is so much utility, it is good in the early and the late game. Let's look on the priest variant. If you choose to trade in the early game, yeah, it's a card for a card. Oh, the Frostbolt you can also cast the enemy face, right? This one only affects minions. So it destroys a minion with 3 or less attack. Now, Frostbolt you can cast on anything. This only of small minions, and because only minions and only small ones, this is a reactionary card. You don't need to be on the defensive. You want stuff that attacks. This is only limited. This is a very limited card. The optimal situation for it is like neutral minion when you get something really big, like Gurubashi Berserker. But cards like those, they are very far and far away from each other. And for those odd 1 in 20 games, when win percentages and long run matters, it's a bad card. You trade, and it's always making you to play defensive. So, no, actually bad card. Obviously you can combo it in many ways, but combos are bad. Lightwell does nothing. Stalls for 1 turn. So it's turn 1. The opponent uses coin, pulls a 3-2. You drop Lightwell. He pulls another 3-2 and hits you for face. You heal up, and on the 3rd turn it dies, and you lost a card and gained what, health, and lost board control for the game. Alone it's horrible. Maybe it's good in a combo with Divine Spirit and Inner Fire, and combos are bad. Sorry, no, this card is bad. It does nothing on its own. It's just absolutely, utterly horrible. Let's go next one. Shadow Word Death. Actually, a good Shadow Word, a lot better than Shadow Word Pain. Why? Because it destroys a big minion. If the guy plays a big minion for 8, and you spend a card for a card, but 3 mana, you get tempo because you have 5 mana left to play a minion on the board, and you get tempo. So this is a good card, and the upside is ignores all the divine shields, unlike the, say, Fireball or Moonfire, Starfire, Moonfire. Okay, Moonfire is this one. Yeah, it's the bad one. So this is actually a good aspect. The bad aspect is only on very big minions. And what is the problem of the 5 damage? The 4 damage, like the priest cards, like Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word they don't apply to, or Shadow Madness. The problem is that 4 damage is the most prevalent type of minion in the game, the most played one. Wanna look for example? Let's see. Chillwind Yeti, very popular. Cultmaster, popular. Dark Iron Dwarf, popular. Ogre Banking not so much, but Spellbreaker not. Twilight Drake, very popular. There are so many more. Abomination, no. Azure Drake, no. Darkscale Healer, no. This one not. Gazettan Auctioneer, no. Silver-Handed, no. Nightblade, no. No, no. There's just so much no in this card. It costs 3 mana. For 3 mana, you could have a card that does something. This card, most often than not, will just do nothing. And if the enemy is going for the very big creatures in the very late game, okay, but you have to get there first. You need to deal with the small and the medium creatures first, and it doesn't help you with it at all. It's like a specific counter card for a specific occasion. If you had Fireball for 4 mana instead, you can do stuff with it. You can hit a minion, you can hit face, you can hit a small minion, you can hit a big minion, you can do stuff, a lot of stuff. This card, while theoretically the only good occasion is when there's, I don't know, Tyrion Fording, when he's a Divine Shield and Fire Blast wouldn't cut it. Otherwise, ugh, but it's better than nothing, so we have to pick it as priests. Another bad card. Let's go, Shadow Form. Oh, I've played a lot of Shadow Forms. A cool trick is that you can deal up to 5 damage with this, like you heal yourself with Holy Light for 2, then you use Shadow Form, hit for 2, another Shadow Form, which overrides the ability, and hit for 5. However, you need 2 cards for it. This card is, well, OP in the early game, except you cannot really play it in early game. It's turn 3, which means that if you had the coin, you could play it on turn 2, and on turn 3 use Shadow Form. But it's very bad for tempo. Very soon the enemies will start bringing minions that are more than 2 health, and you'll start taking damage, and you spend time that they on casting spells that they spent on developing the board, and you can you can do 2 damage to the enemy minions, but they have 4 of them on the board, all above 2 HP. What do you do? What do you do? You've set your back too much. It is okay in the mid-early game when you need to surprise finish something off, and you can allow it with the tempo. When facing another control deck, rush decks, no, you want to heal yourself. This card is just like useful in, I don't know, 20% of matches. When it shines, the rest is bad. And you want cards that are good every time you use them, not sometime like those cards. Let's go for the Thought Steal. Thought Steal is very similar to like draw 2 cards, like to the Mage. Arcane Intellect, draw 2 cards, except you draw 2 enemy cards instead of 2 of your cards. Similar is Warlock. Oh, it's a Shaman, okay. Warlock, it's this guy. Draw 2 minions. Your minions. Minions. Very nice to your hand. However, you get 2 enemy cards. And similar for Mind Vision, you can be crappy. It can be funny cards, but they can be absolutely shiny, like unrelenting to anything you've got in your hand, and you're playing a roulette, and it is fun. I had my fun, but in the long run, it loses the game. It's random. You don't want random. Or if you want random, you want a very good effect and a shite effect, and not really. You get a card that synergizes with enemy's deck, not with your deck. Okay, Mass Dispel. So let's say it's turn 6. You've got 6 mana. The guy has 3 minions on the board. They do stuff like, you know, each of them has some kind of effect, like Knife Juggler that throws knives, the Water Elemental that freezes, and you silence them. You're left with 2 mana, you can heal yourself. And they don't do all the magical stuff, but they still hit you in the face. So you spend a lot of mana, you hit the right card, and you do nothing. You take more damage next turn. So no. Mind Games. A very fun card that is dependent on the metagame. The Handlock, the Giants lock that runs so many giants. Turn 3, coin, Mind Games, boom, Molten Giant. Fun. However, Hunter, Aggro Warlock, everything else. you spend 4 mana and you go Leper Gnome. Or something even worse. So, this card is dependent on the mana curve. If costs 4 mana, and if you get a 4 mana minion, it's actually bad. You could say 4 for 4 is good, but it's bad. Because if instead of 4 spell you had a 4 minion that does something that it fits your deck, and it does something that you want to do it right now, like a taunt minion, or a minion that has some power, that play, you get 4 something random. So getting a 4 random 4 is worse than having a planned 4. So you need to get actually, I would say, 5 mana creature, random 5 mana creature, to get value. 4 random 4 is not good enough. However, it depends on the metagame. In your bracket, in your league, if the mana curve of the minions in your enemy is average 3 on 3 mana, then you are statistically speaking hindering yourself by playing this card. If his average mana cost per creature is 7, then you are doing good. And even if his average mana cost is 7, say a warlock, giant's warlock, and I cast it, I am hoping, yes, Deathwing, yes, Molten Giant, and I get what's his name? Come on here. I've got Argus Defender, yes. Well, I think I disenchanted him last time. So Argus Defender, and you don't get the Bulk Cry. So Argus Defender won't give his bonus to your minions. On the sides, it's just a naked minion without Battle Cry. There are only, I don't know how many minions, 2, that has negative Battle Cries like Deathwing. If you get Deathwing, you get Deathwing and no Battle Cry, you don't discount your cards, it's awesome. But every other minion that has amazing Battle Cry will be less valuable. If you get, which I did so many times, you get, where are you? Card 1. Yeah, Novice Engineer. You can get a Novice Engineer and you don't get a card, you just get a 1/1 body. It's basically a wisp. A wisp for 4 mana. Congratulations. So, randomness. No. This is, in current metagame, with so many aggro decks, no. Okay, Shadow Madness. Shadow Madness is, well, it's good. You can get a very good trade. My favorite is the opponent plays turn 2 a 3/2 creature. Turn 3 he plays a golem. This golem? No, not this golem. Harvest Golem. Then, on your turn 4, which is coin 4 or core, depending on which you started, you take control of the golem, hit his second creature, and his death rattle, it will be yours. So, you kill both enemy creatures and get a 2/1 damage golem. Perfect situation. And because of how the Harvest Golem and 3/2 minions are popular in the metagame right now, it actually happens. However, in almost every other situation, it's bad. You can only get a control of a minion with 3 or less attack, which means that you can deal with it 3 or less damage. So this is only a 3 or less damage potential. If the enemy has a Boulder Fist Ogre and so 3/2 creature, and you take it, control it, you kill the creature, you suicide it, you damage the Ogre, and then you have like 2 mana for self-heal, and the Ogre still hits you in the face. You didn't deal with the board. You just basically, casted a Frostbolt that killed a small minion for 4 mana. There are situations where it can be beneficial, but very specific situation. And when a player plays a priest, a good player, he knows, I'm not gonna play a 3/2 and then a golem because I'm not dumb. They're not gonna make this mistake. They're gonna either play a 1 minion at the time or minions that trade inefficiently. So, against good players, and we are speaking about good players because, against a bad player I can do anything. Yeah, you can do anything. You can win with your eyes closed against bad players. Who cares? We are talking about good players. So, it's a good card. However, again, so situational. It sits in your heart so many times, especially in the mid and late game, and does absolutely nothing. It's bad. So it's bad. You want cards that work every time in the late game, early game. They do stuff. This card is no. Let's focus on. Continue on. We've got Aukenai Soul Priest. Aukenai Soul Priest is good. 4 mana. 3/5, which is just like Times Dingo, but without taunt, which is worse than, for example, Mage Water Elemental, which is 3/6, 1 more health, and freeze your character, which is devastating against weapons. Okay, and you can now deal damage with your healing ability. So what it does, if you play it on turn 6, you can drop a creature and nuke for 2 to get some tempo. You can chain it with restore 2 health to everyone, and stuff. Oh, not this one. Stuff like this. However, for the awesome Circle of Healing combo, you need 2 cards, which means you need luck, and in the long run, it's about percentages. And on its own, it's an okay card. It's a decent card. I would say Water Elemental is way better than this, because dealing 6 damage is very hard, while 5 damage. There are many abilities in the game that deal 5 damage. Arcanite Reaper for Warrior, Druids, you know, the Fire from the Sky. They got 4 cards that do 5 damage. 5 damage is actually more common to go by, and cards like the Abusive Sergeant or the Dark Iron Dwarf, they buff damage by 2. So if there was a creature on turn 3 that has 3 damage, and you place Auchenai Soul Priest, and then becomes, say, Abusive Sergeant, 3/2 becomes 5/2, bam, you've lost the initiative. So 5 health is not the best spot in the current metagame, so no. Next up, Lightspawn. Lightspawn is a lol card, a bad card. Why is it a bad card? It's a 5/5 4/4. Except not really, because when it gets damage, it loses its value. Obviously you can heal it up, but you're never gonna heal it up. It's gonna die. If you can obviously do stuff like all cards 2, 1, no, Divine Spirit, then you have 10/10 for 2 cards, which is a bait for silence, which means any silence, like the owl will silence it. Not silence it like denying a power from it. Like if you silence Auchenai Soul Priest, it's a body, it's a 3/5 body, no power, okay, still can fight. If you silence this guy, he's dead. He's dead. He's occupying your precious space. He's taunting you. He's laughing. So this card is very potent, prone to silence. Then say enemy has a Yeti, 4/5 Yeti. You have a 5/5 Lightspawn, and you think, oh, if he hits me, he's going to lose the Yeti. I'm gonna have still a creature on the board. Then what the guy does, he pings it with the mage ability. He, I don't know, does any damage to it with a spell, something. And then instead, if he does 1 damage, it's gonna be a 4/4. And then he can, say a mage, and then he can trade his Yeti, which will be 4/4, which Yeti will have 4/1, 4 attack for 1 health, and he's still there with damage potential, and you lost a card. So the mage just got a tempo because you played this card. No, this card is bad. This card is a good card if you have the board control. If you don't have a board control, which as I spoke, which is very hard as a priest to get tempo against so many aggressive classes like Hunter, which recharge minions, with Rook, with all the combo stuff, and every other class has better tempo. Shaman, those overcharged spells, Warrior, weapons, Warlock, aggro many minions. You are fighting for survival to survive into the mid game, and you won't have board control. Without board control, this will die so badly. It will just deepen your troubles, really. Okay, let's move forward. 5 mana only. Holy Nova. Holy Nova is a good card, or a bad card. How depends on how you look at it. If we only look at the damage potential, 2 damage to all enemies, for 5 mana, it's a worse version of Consecration, which does 2 damage for 4 mana. You pay 1 more mana for the healing component. It will heal at least you and your minions. However, speaking about it, we are struggling to keep our minions alive, And if the board is empty, you are not getting anything. Next, aggro decks, aggro warlocks, Murloc warlocks, the Zoo warlock. They have a lot of stuff. And each turn that you wait to cast your AoE is, I don't know, the difference between turn 4 and 5, if you're in trouble, is like 10 damage to the face. 10 damage to the face, so restore 2 health to you while casting this is not really gonna help. I would really love to have just Consecration for the priest. 4 mana, 2 damage to all. Fuck the healing, I don't care about the synergy, I just want to survive in the mid and late game. I'm struggling, I need AoE to do this. So obviously if you chain it with many damage minions and Norshire Cleric, but this is a perfect situation, require many cards to function. You need cards that just are good on themselves and possibly amazing in synergy, but don't require synergy to work, just work. So it is an okay card from the necessity. Not very good if you say, how can I Soul Priest, because you kill it and yourself. But at least we got some AoE, right? 2 damage AoE. Next up, 6 mana. 6 mana, we've got Holy Fire. Holy Fire. Holy Fire is good because, in a priest deck at least, because you're struggling for board control. You've took some damage from this Hunter or Warlock. You want to heal yourself. Heal is for 5 is good, but deal 5 damage. If the enemy dropped and he bloody dropped those 4 attack minions that you cannot deal with your Shadow Word Pain, or Shadow Word Death, or your Shadow Madness, Shadow Badness. Some say Shadow Goodness, but no. If you want to deal with the many those minions that have 4 attack and usually 5 health, boom, Holy Fire, and it gives you health. It kills the minion, and if you have only 1 minion on the board, you actually 1 more turn ahead to get to the late game. Because priest for me at the higher level was just stalling and getting to the higher level. If I could get to late game, I'm golden. If I couldn't, no, not so. So this is like, he got a big minion that's posing a threat to you. Holy Fire, get health. You live another turn happily. Next, Cabal Shadow Priest. Amazing cards. Now the thing with those cards is that class cards are better than common cards. They have putting aside how the stat distribution and power works in the game, you could find it on, I think, Liquid Hearth from Team Liquid. A good article about it. Those cards have more bang for the buck than neutral cards. This is the venerable neutral card. It's Stampeding Kodo. Kodo, where are you? Do I have disenchanted it? I disenchant cards I don't use. Let me see. Was it 5 mana? Yep, I think I have disenchanted. Okay, so Stampeding Kodo is 5 mana. Destroy a minion with 2 or less attack. This one is 6 mana, Take Control. And Take Control is so much better than Destroy. If the enemy has a minion, you destroy it, then he lost a minion. When you take control of it, he lost a minion and you took a minion. So the significance of it is twice as important. So for 1 mana, you get 1 more attack and an enemy minion. So Cabal Shadow Priest, if it was a neutral minion, Stampeding Kodo would never lie. The problem, like with with all basically priest cards, of a minion with 2 or less attack. Who the fuck plays 2 or less attack? Seriously. Paladin and Shaman. And if you spot 2 or less attack in those games, oh, it's so rare. So you choose the cards to shade, say 4/6, Battle Cry, take enemy totem. This is probably take enemy totem if you play against Paladin or Shaman. And those are 2 classes, and there's 9 classes, so 2 out of 9. Okay, no one plays priest, so 2 out of 8. So no. For 6 mana, you can get so much more goodness. For what you can get neutral minions for 6 goodness. Let's check. I don't know. Druid, 6 mana. Starfire, oh, Trance. Okay, maybe bad example. Oh, Savannah Highmane, 6/5, Death Rattle, 2/2 Hyenas. Amazing cards. I would go for it over it. 4/6 over. If they clashed, if this guy for 6 mana hit my guy for 6 mana, he would survive, kill my minion, have 1 HP, and still summon 2 hyenas after death. No. It doesn't require any situational, problems to live on, like this one. Just, I have, more often than not, if I run two of them in my hand, and they wait for the amazing 2 mana creature that never happens. And then I drop a Yeti for 6 instead of 4 mana. It's a Yeti for 6 mana. This is what it is. Okay, Temple Enforcer. 6/6 for 6. Let's remember that for 6 the staple is 6/7. So you lose 1 health of the base, but give 3 health to someone else. And so if you have a minion and you are to trade, theoretically you can drop this guy, buff your minion's health, trade, survive with the minion, and be golden. Except you are struggling for dominance. You not necessarily, as a priest, have board control. You most often than not do not have board control. In this case, this power is wasted. The minions like Dark Iron Wolf, where are you? In a defensive deck, their power is wasted. The aggressive decks play them because they always have something on the board. Warlocks, I don't know, hunters with charge. It never goes to waste. This one can go to waste, so you need board control, the priest's problem. And X6 for 6, it's not as dramatic. I mean, look at the Shaman. Shaman 6/5, deal 3 damage. Boom! The guy has minions on the field. You play this bad boy, you kill an enemy minion, you already go 1-for-1 trade. And then you have still a strong body. So if I'm playing a priest and I have my Temple Enforcer and I'm playing against a shaman, so say shaman comes up, he kills my guy, and this bad boy is still there, and then I come up, I fucking have nothing to buff because it just died to the 3 damage, and my guy will still trade with his guy. So whoa, bad situation. I don't know what's that. Oh, this compared to this one, yeah, 6/5. Oh, yeah. I can trade my guy with this guy, and he still gets 2 hyenas. I don't. This is card that actually again requires something. It doesn't require something. If there's no enemy minions, you just hit him for defense, and you're still golden. This one can lose value. Oh my god. Okay, next up, Prophet Velen. Prophet Velen is one of the weakest legendaries. I mean, we thought, I don't have this one, but the Warlock crafting. Oh no, it's not Warlock. Warlock, Shaman. Yeah. Oracle, the Wind Lord, the Shit Lord, been called 3/5 in every possible buff, that it was the weakest one, but actually, you're a Shaman, you can give it, I don't know, some damage buff, and it goes double. So if you give him your Rockbiter weapon, which I don't have. What? Includes Stumble. You give him a Rockbiter weapon, and boom, from 6 damage you go 12 damage to the face, because it has charge. Prophet Velen is bad. Why is it bad? It costs 7 mana, which means that if you play it on turn 7 or 8, and you have no mana for anything else, then he gonna get removed, and it was it. It doesn't have a dramatic effect on the battlefield. If I play Baron Geddon, boom, I've done 2 damage to everyone, and I've burned some enemy minions, say 4 totems and 1 guy. If I play Ragnaros for 8 mana, which is close, I've done 8 damage. I could kill a giant with this if I got lucky. There's some dramatic effects. Those legendary guys pop in, and you get their value instantly. This guy doesn't do anything. He needs to survive. Good luck for a 7/7 body. And if on the next turn you could do amazing things, but like Inner Fire for 10/10, but if he lived, and the problem is he won't. The only thing that you can do with him on the same turn is heal yourself for 4, which is the description of the guy says. 7 mana, 7/7 stats. This turn you can heal yourself for 4 health. Legendary card. Or this turn your Mind Blast deals 10 damage. And I've experimented with it, like, oh, 10 damage, boom. But because I struggled through the game, So much to deal 20 damage to get to the point, because on the late game I shine. It's not like, oh boom, finisher, 10 damage, pyroblast for 2 mana. No, 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 no. So, because first it's a synergy, you need both of the cards, and turn 9 to happen for it to work. Turn 9, everything can happen. I don't know, Deathwing and 2 faceless manipulators can happen. Everything. This is just a not dramatic effect that you want a legendary card to bring to the battlefield. Sorry, Valen, you are shit. Okay, last card. Mind Control. It was nerfed. It was, well, it was changed as a priest class many times, but it was 8 mana. And 8 mana meant that the guy played Ragnaros, and then you played Mind Control, and you killed the enemy Ragnaros, and you get yourself Ragnaros, which you could, and I often did on my priest with stuff like Shadow Ward Death and Faceless Manipulator, which is 2 cards. But priest, Mind Control. Mind Control is bad. It will give you win in a very prolonged, very slow control game, and it will give you an edge. However, in a mid-range deck, in a rush deck, you won't use it. If it is, say, you got some cards, you are the first one, you get 3 cards, you mulligan them, you get some cards, and you get Mind Control. It's such a dead card in your hand. You just wasted 1 card, and you're gonna wait 9 turns to play it, if even. And obviously it's nice. Oh, I'm gonna Mind Control your Ragnaros. I'm gonna do stuff. It's turn 10. It's turn 10. By the time it's turn 10, very rarely the game is not in a state that it won't swing the game. It is a good card. It just turned 10. It's for the same reason mages don't run Pyroblast, which I disenchanted for the reason, because by turn 10 I can do so much stuff that is way better, and does it save me? Is super dramatic? No. So maybe 1-2 in a deck if you face a control. Again, this is a situation card, because if you place a giant warlock and you manage to make it late game, it will be useful. But imagine a rush deck, a hunter deck, a warlock deck. What are you gonna use it against? Knife Juggler? Or maybe Arcane Golem, which already hit you in the face? No, it is a dead card then. It's not a card like a Fireball that you can always use. Fireball. Where is my vulnerable Fireball? Fireball! Use it to crap the enemy. Kill a big creature. Kill a small creature. Kill yourself. You can do all stuff with it. This one is just... It should read... In a prolonged late game, end game, you will have a chance to take enemy minion. In every other matchup, which is a plenty in the current metagame, it won't do jack shit. And you wish that you had something else. Now, so, the problem with all the cards, to sum it up, situational. The cards are not good on themselves. They need combinations and situations, certain situations. Situations that can not happen. Combinations that cannot happen in your hand because, whoa, bad RNG. And this is what makes Priest so bloody bad. I had this thought experiment that I advise you do. I mean, there's a lot of class cards, say Druid. Make a deck only with class cards. You can use all of them, right? All the, say, Hunter. All of them, the cards you want. If I wanted to make a Hunter deck, oh, I would have a nice creature, a weapon, a lot of minions, a lot of removal, good removals like this one. There's a lot of stuff I could have with my Hunter. Even Hunter is not considered, but make a deck with only priest cards. You would have like, I don't know, 3 minions, 4 minions, 6 minions in your deck. The other cards would be like spells that are super situational. And those cards are just bad compared on their own, and especially compared to other cards. They just don't have this dramatic effect. They are too situational. To be situational, the card has to be bloody amazing. It just be like, oh, I cannot do it, but when situation pops, I'm gonna crush the enemy, and not, oh, if the situation pops, it's just gonna be fine. So, to those problems, all those cards really need to be changed, because being a combo class, depending on having many cards, when enemy just, place a card on the table, hit you in the face, nothing to think about. This is why no one really plays priest. There's no priest in the league except like 1-2 masochists. And I cry for my priest. So why do you hinder yourself? Why do you play the bird priest? Just pick a warlock, zoo warlock, and play it. Yes, well, as I told you, my first cards that I got from the packs were some epics and blue stuff was priest cards, and unaware then I just played priest. And the higher you get, the less is dependent on you. I mean, I do my best play. Okay, RNG is RNG, but just the fact that I got bad cards for a bad class, it's just unlucky. And don't do yourself. This class needs so much work, really. In a Hearthstone, which is a competitive game, it's not casual. Everyone likes to win. Everyone's want to win. Everyone's, when you lose, you want to be, for me at least, I want, you didn't do good enough. You need to do better to win. Not, well, you got bad luck, bam, or you play a shitty class, bam, 20% win rate against some deck, bam. No, it's not fun, and I'm playing something else right now. I'm playing warrior I'm playing, and it's better, but I still shed a tear from time to time on my priest, and I wish it is changed fundamentally a lot. All of the cards are changed, basically all of the cards, and well, that is all. I hope you enjoyed my rant, my horrible English, my high-pitched voice, horrible recording quality, and see you for the next time.